Hello, this is DragonLoon, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Last time we finally got our space elevator built. Oh, it took us a while, and I do apologize about that, but there was a lot that we had to get done, such as we had to automate rotors. We also had to automate uh, reinforced iron plates and put in the automation to make oops, sorry about that, to make everything else that we needed in order to make those items. Between the last episode and this episode, I did go and download the Satisfactory mod loader because there were a couple of mods that I wanted to install and use in this playthrough. Such as the programmable splitter, which will allow us to better program ratios, such as this splitter right here that we're using for our iron plates. We can program that to send 2/3 of the iron plates through to the merger and the other third down so that we get a better ratio on the belt here. I also downloaded the farming mod, which has been updated. Uh, One of the structures that you can get is a doggo pin, which will feed and harvest all of the stuff that you get from your tamed doggos. I want to get to that point. However, I want to get to the Mark II stuff in the farming mod, or have the ability to get there anyways, before we actually install that, because the Mark I greenhouses you have to manually harvest, whereas the Mark IIs you can set it up to be the Mark IIs are automatic greenhouses, so you can set the whole thing up to automatically harvest and feed your doggos. There was one other mod that I downloaded, so let's go to the hub and take a look. So we have the basic farming, which, like I said, gives you the greenhouses and all of that. I believe it's either in tier 3 or tier 4, maybe even as late as tier 5, that you get the Mark II greenhouses. So again, we're not going to use that just yet. However, the other mod that I downloaded was the refined power mod, and that gives us wind turbines, and at tier 1 it's Mark 1 wind turbines. I believe in tier 3 um, you get your Mark 1 water turbines. This is just another way of producing power to where you don't have to rely on the biogenerators. So, let's go ahead and open that up. Alright, and there we go. So now, if we go into our build menu, we can go to the power, and we have wind turbines. Now, if you look at the mod list, the wind turbines have a area of effect of 6 foundation tiles, which means that if you put more than one wind turbine within 6 tiles around itself, it reduces the amount of power that it generates. So one wind turbine generates 10 megawatts. So in order to have 100% power production from every turbine, you actually have to put the turbines 12 tiles apart. That's okay. We have a lot of space to work with. So give me a little bit, and I'm going to put down some more wind turbines to where we can increase our power production to be able to start increasing our automation. I'll be right back with you. All right, folks. So I only put down 5 wind turbines for now, bringing our total power production up to 240 megawatts. Because what I'm hoping to get to today is actually coal power generation, which is a whole lot better than even wind generation. But what I do want to do right now is I want to go into Tier 2, and I want to unlock the Resource Sync bonus program. That way we get our Awesome Sync, and we can get the Awesome Shop and start getting other things such as wall power ports to be able to clean up some of these power poles, as well as some other foundations that will just make things like that ramp there look a whole lot better. So let's go ahead and unlock the resource sink bonus program. Alright, so we have everything collected already, so let's get this going so that we can start building that resource sink. Alright, so to build the resource sink, we go under special buildings, and we can build the awesome shop, which will allow us to refund the tickets for different items. And then we can also build the resource sink. So let's go ahead and get that going. While I was waiting, I did add in a few more buildings, such as another constructor making concrete, because we are going to need a lot of it, because we're going to be building a lot of foundations. What I want to do is I want to build a platform that goes all the way out to this cliff, because I want to put all our coal generators right here, because one thing that the coal generators need this time in Update 3 is they need water. And just over the hill here, there is a lake right down here where we can put some water collectors. That way we can get the water we need for the coal generators. Alright, and now that we have all of the plants and whatnot around here cleared out, it will be a whole lot easier to place all our water collectors and our coal power plants right here. And look at that, the drop pod is back, so it is time to go unlock our next milestone. And the next milestone that we are going to unlock, we really don't need jump pads. I don't use jump pads, really. Never really liked them, never really understood them. Some people love them, though, but I can't understand it. So, what we're going to do is, it looks like our space elevator over here is done and ready to go. And that would be the last milestone in Tier 2 that we need to unlock, so we need to unlock 3 and 4. Alright, here we go. And off it goes. Once again, such an awesome animation. And there we go. Alright, so, Tier 3 and 4. Let's go take a look at what we can unlock in Tiers 3 and Tiers 4. That way we can start thinking about what we're going to do for automation. And in what order. Alright, so, in Tier 3, we have coal power, which is obviously one of the first things that we're going to unlock, simply so that we can get our coal generators, like I was saying. We also have vehicular transport, which will get us our tractors, so that it makes it even better to, or easier, excuse me, makes it easier to move around and get things like all the hard drives that are out there, and find more resource nodes and things like that. We also have our basic steel foundries, which will get us our Part 2, the versatile frameworks that we need for the space elevator so that we can unlock Tiers 5 and Tier 6. As well as steel plates, or steel pipes, excuse me, because we're going to need steel pipes in Tier 4 for advanced steel production to make encased industrial beams, which are needed in Mark 3 belts for, excuse me, they're needed in Mark 4 belts for the Mark 4 belts, obviously. Mark 3 belts, I believe, use regular steel beams, which they're really good anyways. They allow you to transport 270 resources per minute, whereas the Mark 2s are only 120. The Mark 4s, however, I believe are 360, but we'll have to see. Alright, and then the advanced farming mod, or advanced farming in Tier 4, allows us to get the Mark II, so we're going to be working for that. Basic Chef allows us to get the cooker, which will allow us to make to produce things like bread and whatnot. Let's see, what else do we have in Tier 3? Tier 3 also gives us our Mark I water turbine, which I believe produces 10 megawatts per minute of power. Might be 20 megawatts. We'll have to see. Don't know. Advanced Logistics gives us our adjustable splitters and our adjustable mergers. This is what we were looking for. Unfortunately, it looks like we need quick wire for that, which means that we're going to have to unlock our Caterium tree. So I'm going to have to go and look for those Caterium nodes. Not too bad. Not too big of an issue. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select the coal power milestone so that we know that we need to work on that. And then we're going to build our awesome sink. And then we're going to unlock coal power. For all of that, we are going to need reinforced iron plates. And we're going to need a lot of those. All right. Not a big issue. We also need rotors. Alright, and then we need to go back downstairs for some cables for for both of them, actually. Alright, so we have everything we need. So let's go ahead and build our resource sink. I want to do the awesome sink right here, and unfortunately, it is too tall. The floors right there are way too close to where I want to put the awesome sink. But what we can do is we can actually move it out here next to this turbine, because the wind turbines, as you can see, are also taller than the floor that I have the reinforced iron plates and rotors being built on. So now let's go ahead and throw down this awesome sink. Alright, there we go. Now, unfortunately, this thing requires 30 megawatts of power. And if we look at our power production, we're producing 240, but we're using 180. So if we hook this up, it's gonna cause a bit of a problem. So what we want to do is we want to build our coal power. In order to do that, however, we need to go get our coal nodes. So if we hold down C, we can't unlock coal, although I do know where it is. The closest coal node is down over in that general area. Might even be down over there, I think, actually. So we'll need to go get that. Ooh, look, we've got a baddie, and I think we have a sulfur deposit right there. But looking at the direction, no, it's not over there. It is on that side of that little island way out there. So we need to unlock coal power so that we can find it. Luckily, we do not have everything we need. Alright, there we go. We have everything collected, and now we can produce coal. Let me drop this here. The only problem with the coal power generation that I foresee is actually... Oh, no. The only problem with coal power generation is the water extractors. In order to do water extractors as well as the water pipes, we need copper plate, which we don't have producing just yet. However, that's not that too big of a problem, because we have this 60 line of copper that we're only using 30 of for our copper wire and cable. So we have an extra 30 that we can siphon off and use for copper sheeting. So, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and put those down. Alrighty, so I got the copper plates. Are they called copper plates? Copper sheets, excuse me. I got those automated. One constructor takes 20 ingots per minute to produce 10 sheets per minute. So what I ended up doing was I ended up putting down 2 constructors, which need 40 copper ingots per minute. And so I just overclocked the smelter to produce 40 per minute. Which actually it looks like you need to produce 40.2 per minute. It does not like exactly 40. Not sure why. Anyway, so I overclocked that a little bit, but because I overclocked that to need more than 30 per minute, the 60 line would not work. It would draw too much more. So I had to upgrade these belts to 120 lines, or Mark IIs, and then I had to overclock our copper miner to produce 70 copper ore per minute, just to be able to keep up with all of these. So, now that we have our copper sheets being automated, we can go grab some more concrete and work towards our coal node, which, now that we have unlocked coal, you can see is way off there in the distance. Right down there, about 600 meters that way. And then there's another one about 850 meters that way, but you have to go up and around a bunch of things. This one is more of a straight shot. So that's the one we're going to go for. Let me collect up a bunch of resource, and we will head that way. Alright, so after several hundred cases of concrete, a bunch of iron plates, iron rods, cables, and whatnot, I have a nice highway all the way over to the coal node. Now, this coal node, I know from previous experience, is a pure coal node, which means that it can produce 120 coal per minute. Now, if I were to build the conveyor line with that using Mark II conveyors, I'd be here for hours waiting for the reinforced iron plates to build. So I'm just starting with a Mark I, which only transports 60 per minute, but that will be fine to start with. It'll get our coal power generation up and running. Now, as you can see, we do also have a yellow power slug over there, which I am going to snag. But first, what we need to do is we need to get down there. Now, down there is also some enemies, like right there, that we're going to have to deal with, but we will deal with that in just a minute. First, I need to get down there. All right. So I had a small issue with a big old fuzzy tail way up there. I forget what they're actually called, but they're bigger than the normal fluffy tail hog thingies. But it ended up killing me, and so I ended up getting another milestone, which got us the Xeno Basher instead of the Xeno Zapper. It's much stronger, and I was able to kill it, get all my stuff back, get the yellow slug, and clear out all of the enemies down here. So, let's go ahead and put down this Miner Mark I right down this way. And then if we open this up, you can see that it takes 20, or it can produce 120 coal per minute. It also only takes 5 megawatts of power. So what we'll do is take this wind turbine and disconnect it from the network, and then just connect it straight down to that miner because it produces 10 megawatts of power. With it not being on the same network as all the other power, even if we run out of power and all our production machines shut down, our coal mine won't. This will mean that we constantly have a supply of coal, because chances are most likely that if we run out of power or our power production shuts down, it's due to the fact that we just don't have enough power production set up right then and there. So what we'll do is we'll pull a belt this way, and unfortunately we can't go through the wind turbine. So what we'll need to do is we'll actually bring it over this way, and if I'm not mistaken, we have it on that one. We'll put it there and hook it up like that. And there we go. Now we have coal being generated. And as we get more reinforced iron plates, I'll come through and I'll just upgrade these to the Mark IIs. Alright, so we've got our first coal power plants set up. I only set up 3 for now because they each consume... Ooh, I cannot remember. But I believe a 60 line can power 3 coal generators with no issue. We also need to provide 45 cubic meters per minute of water. And I believe that if I go to my handy calculator here on my phone, that means we need 135 cubic meters of water per minute, so about 2 water pumps. Plus, as I'm looking at my recording time, it is getting a bit long, and I do definitely want to try and keep all of these videos really, really short. Speaking of which, if you did find this video very informative, please leave me a like, as it really does help me out. That being said, let's get back to this. And what we need to do is we need to go into our logistics, and we need a couple conveyor splitters. Alright folks, there we go. We finally have our coal power plants up and running. We have 3 of those being provided 60 coal per minute, and we'll get that up to 120 once we can get enough refined iron plates. But as you can see, we are now producing 105 megawatts. Now, let me walk you through what I did. I came over here, and I built the water pipes up above where the conveyors are, just so that we can walk around, get around in there. But that is providing water for all 3 coal power plants. But if you look here, you don't see any power cables going over here to the... Oh, hold on. There we go. Over here to our water extractors. And that is because I did the exact same thing that I did over with our coal miner, and I just hooked everything up to its own, call it power generation. We might eventually swap these out for a couple of coal generators, but for now, it is doing just fine. Now, I did put in that turbine there for an additional 10 megawatts because I thought that the head lift of this was going to be so much so that we would need to put in a pump to get the water up higher. Fortunately, we didn't have to do that. So I have 2 water pumps which are producing 120 cubic meters per second each, which is 240 cubic meters of water. More than enough for the 3 coal power plants that we currently have going. I then did add in these industrial fluid buffers just in case something happens and we start running low on water, or something happens with our water extractors to where they're not running, we still have a little bit of water to be able to keep the coal power plants running. So, once again, looking at the recording time, it does look like we are getting kind of long here. So, I think we're going to call it at that. We made a lot of progress. I do want to eventually clean up that pipe there, but in order to do that, we do need to get advanced logistics so that we can get the stackable water poles. This episode, we did add in a couple of mods. Once again, that is our refined power to give us those wind turbines. We did get our coal generators up and running to where now we do not have to rely on biomass burners, which next time we will disconnect those. We got our coal mine all the way over there running, and we automated down below here producing copper sheets so that we can do fluid transport. Once again, if you did like this video, please make sure to leave me a like, as it does help me improve and produce more videos. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe so that you don't miss any more of these awesome videos. Until next time, stay frosty.